Hello everyone, my name is Ryder and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts 3 video. Before the news about the tutorial section for Kingdom Hearts 3 broke, I assume it took place before the game and even before the 2.9 cutscenes that take place after the tutorial, although in recent news, the Kingdom Hearts 3 tutorial takes place at the end of the game. That was a quote from Nomura. Well, either there weren't words to translate this properly, or Nomura was super vague for the point of being vague, and that he would explain it in the future. So this goes one of two ways, and I believe it's obvious which way it goes once it's explained, and one of them makes more sense. The first view of this is a literal view that the game takes place at the end of the game, in which case any theory is just complete speculation, and that it's Sora is defeating the rest of the darkness in his own heart, or Sora meets his memories, then Riku, who is the light that leads him to the final world area where he defeats the dark side inside of Kairi's heart, maybe? I don't know. The view is bad and luckily isn't being talked about a whole lot. I mean, most things are just, it's all, like I said, speculation because there's no real answer. The explanation seems to reach for an answer and breaks previously established lore, at least in the one sense in that one argument that I had seen before. When the answer is literally the first thing shown to the players when the game is playable, there are 7 hearts to save. This other option makes more sense and also needs an explanation as well, but seems to be taking place at the end just like Nomura says, and you don't have to pull a random word generator out of your butt to explain it. This time, when it takes place at the end, I mean it takes place at the end of the game in the Keyblade graveyard. So, at first when the gang arrives, it goes just as normal. The crew shows up, Xehanort walks out, sounding stupid along with the rest of his boy band. Then you fight a lot of enemies, and actually I believe this is one of the coolest fights in the game, and you're allowed to skip half of it technically. And can I just say, if you don't fight all the way till the bar is depleted, are you even a real fan? Are you even a real fan of the Kingdom Hearts series? That's a joke. That's a trigger warning. I'm so sorry. Please, I'm joking. So anyway, you keep fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting till eventually Sora just decides to poop out a train, and he shoots sparkles and fireworks all over, and the enemies they just kind of die. Yeah, Anyway, the Guardians move on, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy catch up, counting everyone present. There are 9 people total. This is important. The cutscene plays, and we're just gonna skip this through a little bit. Ven gets bodied. Everyone watches. Goofy is the boy. Donald does the super duper ingredient blast and literally becomes the strongest Square Enix character to ever exist. The bugs get revenge. Aqua's literally useless. Everyone gets Thanos, and Riku actually explodes. Now, before we continue on with the lore, let's talk about the dives to the heart that appear in the series before. The dive to the heart that we are used to seeing is part of the final world in a realm between death and sleep called the Station of Awakening. In the past, Sora was asleep and dreamed himself here, and in Kingdom Hearts 2, Roxas appeared in the station instead of Sora. That's how Nomura continued using a gameplay element while keeping the continuity of the series going.
What's the final world?
There's nothing else beyond this. You've wandered here more than once before on your visits to the Station of Awakening, but I let that slide. The edges of sleep and death touch, and one can't help the occasional crossover.
Wait, death?
Yes, the natural end for those whose hearts and bodies perish together. But some persist and arrive here.
Continuing on after the scene with Xehanort and the heartless mob that killed everyone, now Sora arrives at the Station of Awakening in his Kingdom Hearts 1 clothes, walks over to the mirror, touches it, and becomes Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora. Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, now surrounded by memories of his past life, is essentially flashing before his eyes. This is the part of the game where you choose which health / magic you want, whether it's more health, more magic, or both, along with the abilities you'll unlock first thing in the beginning of the game. Even though this is the beginning of the game, it's important to remember this doesn't take place first. You simply are choosing your path for the game. Once you've completed that, a nostalgic moment of water surrounding Sora like the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 1, but instead of Riku being under the tide, it's light showing that Riku has risen above his darkness. Riku then seems to guide Sora to the final world where Sora encounters a dark side. There's really no noticeable lore here except to continue the trend of being nostalgic and to show that you are in the Station of Waking, just like in Kingdom Hearts 1, fighting a dark side at the beginning of the game. Once you defeat the dark side, Sora wakes in the final world and finds himself all alone in this world, and the title sequence plays, and it is a very dramatic and eerie scene with a singular pair of footsteps walking alone. Sora then proceeds where he meets Shirthy, and Shirthy explains that his friends aren't here, that they have lost their hearts, or they are perfectly fine in the real world. Shirthy tells Sora he can piece himself back together and beat death, in theory, if he collects a few versions of himself. I hope you still have room for dessert, big boy. Then you find two hidden cutscenes. One is a 99.9% chance of being Stritliza, or is it Stritlizia? I don't know, from Union Cross. And the other is Nominee, where a lot of important information is in those cutscenes, so be sure to go and find them.
Why are you here?
I was in Kyrie's heart, but then we were struck by a powerful darkness, and I woke up here.
And Kyrie?
I can feel her heart. She's fighting with all her strength to keep you from fading away.
So the reason I retained my form in this place...
It's because she's holding you together. Go to her.
Both great cutscenes full of lore that you'll all need to know. Sora teleports and continues to collect versions of himself until he's full and can't eat any more chocolate mousse ice cream. Shirthy talks some more, and Sora decides to use the power waking to save the 7 hearts. Sora unlocks a keyhole and goes back to the world of the living. Oh yeah, I get to watch him die a second time. This time it shows a different perspective of Sora gliding towards a light in the distance. Everything I just discussed about the Station of Awakening is happening right now at this moment. The whole thing with Sora from Kingdom Hearts 1 spawning with the 7 hearts of light, all the way to recompleting himself and teleporting back to the land of the living. Sora now has to save the 7 hearts. He appears in Olympus, and at first everything seems to be weird because no one is around, but then he finds his friend Riku and finds that a Heartless called a Lich steals his friend Riku's heart, who happens to have been the last person to die before Sora. And also in the scene where Sora was gliding towards the light, he was calling out Riku's name. The Lich appears to take hearts captive and then flee with them. Sora chases down the Lich and defeats it, making it release Riku's heart. Sora then dives into each world, gathering his friends until he has reached and taken back each and every single last one of the hearts that the Lich had stolen from them. Sora has gathered every heart now, except for Kyrie's. He doesn't know where it is because he has now gone to every single world. Young Xehanort confronts Sora and foreshadows his future, yada yada yada. That can be saved for another video at some point, or I don't know, something like that. Sora continued chasing the light until he finds Kyrie, the last heart, and I guess who actually didn't die, but I don't know how that goes, I don't know. But at the same time, when she was struck by the mob, Nominee said that she was struck by a powerful darkness that conveniently separated Nominee and Kyrie from each other, that way being able to bring Nominee back at the end of the game. Kyrie fulfills her promise of taking care of Sora, and they both have a very great, cool moment in this scene. It's absolutely just a great scene between the two characters, and I just absolutely adore it. It's so good. Anyway, after that, they make it back to the land of the living, where they are brought back together with their friends, and guess what? Yay! Now they get to go back and fight the Xehanorts all again. Oh, and oh no, hopefully they don't get bodied this time. I don't know, man. Find out next time on a new episode of Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, thank you for watching my video again, and please subscribe. I'm working on new videos, and I want to increase the quality, so please in the comments, if you found a lot of things disturbing or horrible about this video, please let me know. All comments will be appreciated, and I will try my best to make these videos better. Thank you so much, and if you would like to, please leave a fat like and subscribe to the Low Gang Squad. That's right, I'm going the Low Gang Squad now. And I'm out.